Hello, this is Randy. Welcome back to Brain Break with Randy and Keitho. It's actually just me again, but I wanted to tell you a story that my wife would probably hate me to tell, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've been married to my wife for 44 years, and she's incredible. She continues to astound and impress me constantly with the things she's able to do, the things she learns, the things she knows. She's amazing. She's my sweetheart. She's an amazing mother, the grandmother that everybody wants. I'm going to tell you a couple stories about her. I've always wanted to be a good shot. I'm talking about shooting a firearm. And, while I could hit things okay, my eyesight isn't that great, even with glasses. To give you an example, I went with my son when he was in charge of the Camp Pendleton rifle range. We were able to spend a weekend together. I can't remember where his wife was, but she wasn't around. And he and I had the chance to be together, and we went to the rifle range. He showed me where he worked and how he did his job. Now, in the Marine Corps, the recruits and everyone is required to qualify with a rifle once a year, unlike other branches of the military where they might have to do it every once in a while. And that goes clear to the commandant. They have to qualify once a year. And as you get older, you don't necessarily get into the same position you did. But my son and I were at this rifle range. It's just he and I. Nobody was shooting. He pointed out the 150 yards that the Marine Corps uses, and then the 300 yards that the Marine Corps uses. And then he showed me the 500 yards. I couldn't see what he was talking about. So we walked down to the 500 yards, and when we got within about 150 yards of it, I saw it finally, and I said, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I missed that. It's tiny." My son can see very well. His hand-eye coordination is amazing. He never missed a single target when he shot at the 500 yards, which is unheard of. It was incredible. I really admire him. I wish we could have had a chance to shoot together, but that didn't happen. But we went to some great restaurants while we were there together. It's a favorite memory of mine, and I think of his. While it would have been fun to have the grandchildren there, it was just the two of us. We made memories. But getting back to my wife. Now, my wife, she raised a Marine, so she's tough. She and I borrowed her dad's .22 pistol when we were newly married. We went out into the desert. I don't remember how many rounds we had, 100 or 200, but we didn't know anything about hearing protection. She went out and plinking cans and bottles. At that point, I realized my wife was a better shot than I was. She couldn't always see how close she was getting, but she was closer. And so I would tell her, well, you're about a foot to the right. So just move your gun just a little bit and you'll hit it. Boom, she's right on. Years later, when Ted Kennedy, Senator Ted Kennedy, said he was going to get rid of guns, I went out and bought a gun. That was the reason I bought my first gun, was because a liberal told me that we weren't going to have a chance to buy guns anymore. So I figured I'd go buy a gun, and I bought a great one. It was a Smith & Wesson 686 in .357 with a 6-inch barrel and an oversized hand grip. If you're aware of that gun, it's built on the same frame as a .44 Magnum. So it's a heavy gun. But the advantage of it, when you shoot it, even with a 357p plus load, there's hardly any recoil. It doesn't, the barrel doesn't lift up. It's a very fun gun to shoot. My wife realized that and decided that that was her favorite gun. It wasn't always the most practical gun to carry, but she could hit whatever she aimed at. I mean, it was spooky how good she was. And a little while later, my wife and I took our children, and we were able to go camping with some friends on his father's property. He owned a cattle ranch, and we were up on the ridge above the cattle ranch. We could see down into the ranch, and we saw some kids that shouldn't have been on the ranch. They were harassing the calves, chasing them around and up to no good, things that kids in the country do on a Friday or Saturday night. So we went and got in their vehicle and chased on down the hill. When I go camping, I tend to be armed, but I left my wife with this favorite gun of hers. We gave these kids a stern talking to after we caught up to them and told them, hey, leave these cows alone and don't come back. They agreed that that was a better solution than being arrested. So they took off. We went driving back. Now, my friend was anxious to get back. He knew the roads. And finally, we get within a quarter mile of camp. And I said, you better slow down. And he said, why? And I said, Debbie is there and she has a gun. And my friend had seen my wife shoot. And he goes, thanks for reminding me. He slowed way down. He even honked his horn, turned his lights on and off like, it's me. Don't shoot. Anyway, my wife is amazing to camp with. I'm sorry those days are probably past, but she can do amazing things with the Dutch oven when we go camping. She can cook everything from anything you'd cook in an oven. She can do in a Dutch oven. She's incredible. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just because somebody looks calm and that they don't look menacing to you doesn't mean they are. Two things about my wife. One, she raised a Marine, and two, she's an amazing shot. I would never cross my wife. Never. I would not encourage anybody to cross my wife. She's very slow to anger. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure I've ever seen her really angry, but I wouldn't want to see her really angry. I certainly wouldn't want to see her angry if she had a gun and there was a reason that you didn't need to be around anymore. But, she's a good shot. And she likes big bullets. 357 P+ load is not small, but she's a lot of fun. I'm glad she agreed to marry me all those years ago and that we've been able to stick it out and be together. Thank you for joining me again for Brain Break with Randy and Keitho. I hope that you will subscribe and like, and please tell your friends about us. It's my pleasure to share these stories with you. I hope you're enjoying them and getting something out of them, even if it's just don't harass your wife. Have a great night or day, however it may be. Take care.